Well, Operation Ghost fans, welcome to part 2 of Ocracoke Island. If you recall, Ocracoke Island is the place where the notorious Blackbeard the Pirate was murdered by the British. I've traveled back here after 2 years to see if I could gather any more evidence of these trails being haunted. This was the place where Blackbeard the Pirate would come after his pirating. It was known as his hangout. The local lore is not only is this place haunted by Blackbeard himself, it's haunted by a man and his horse who used to own this land, and it's said you can still see them standing in the trail today. This is the evidence that I encountered during this paranormal investigation. I started out with a lot of EVP sessions, and it turned out to be mostly typical.
Edward Teach, are you here with me?
I tried to do a lot of communication, and I was met with no answers.
Blackbeard the Pirate, are you here with me?
However, at the end of this session, I did catch a strange sound that I cannot explain.
At your original death.
I caught this mysterious sound as I was walking down the trail trying to communicate.
I would appreciate it if anybody was out here to let me know. I would appreciate it if anybody was out here to let me know. I would appreciate it if anybody was out here to let me know.
Not the craziest thing in the world, but it definitely caught my attention. As always, I love my full spectrum camera. This photo I found to be interesting because if you look inside of the fenced-in area, you can see an orb of light. This is the grave of Samuel G. Jones and his horse where the statue is. It's said in the paranormal world that spirits travel in orbs of light. Though I get a lack of communication in this place, I always feel a presence. This is another photo that had something I couldn't explain. In the bottom right, you can see some sort of flash or glare. The whole point of a full spectrum camera is to pick up things our eyes can't naturally see, and I can't explain that. To me, it almost looks like a gray glowing orb of light. Another issue I seemed to encounter while in this lovely place was technical difficulties, and I don't typically have those. So, one of the craziest things that's happened here, I was filming, doing my EVP session, and I kept asking Sam to give me a sign, and I was about 2 minutes in, and the video stopped recording, the camera went away, and I wasn't even touching it. And I looked, and that video had completely been erased. So that makes me wonder if him turning off my video was a sign that he doesn't want me here, and he doesn't want me filming. The longer I dug through my evidence, the more fearful I was that I just wasn't going to have enough to even make a video.
Edward Teach, Blackbeard the Pirate, are you here?
But I like to think that that name right there did make an appearance here. What I capture next scares the absolute shit out of me. I mentioned Blackbeard the Pirate's treasure. He once said that he buried his treasure close to the gates of hell. I was standing quite a ways away from the beach, and as I was speaking, I heard footsteps coming out of the water. Which doesn't make a bit of damn sense if I wasn't next to the water. Blackbeard the Pirate was killed in the water, and it's almost like he heard me mention his treasure, and he began to walk out of the water. But once again, just to be perfectly clear, I was not by the water. I was pretty far away from the water and the trail. That's why this scares me so much.
Why did you like to come here?
Listen as I try to communicate with him about his treasure.
Is your treasure buried here somewhere? Buried close to the gates of hell? I believe you said something like that, didn't you? Is your treasure buried here somewhere? Buried close to the gates of hell? I believe you said something like that, didn't you? I believe you said something like that, didn't you?
I have seen things and heard things, but the fact that I hear footsteps coming out of the water when I'm not even next to the water is absolutely insane. The last bit of evidence I caught I thought was pretty interesting. Blackbeard the pirate was killed right off of that point there by the British, and that's where I did my last EVP session with my EMF reader. Sitting out there with my EMF reader, I did get a couple spikes. Now obviously I'm on the beach away from electricity, so my EMF reader going off, I really can't explain that.
Off the Springer's Point. Blackbeard, are you here with me?
And naturally, this isn't very far from where Blackbeard was killed. In fact, I bet if you were sitting here on November 18th, 1718, you would have probably caught the whole show of him being murdered by the British. Well, that's all the evidence that I got on this trip. Without a doubt, my favorite was the footsteps coming out of the water while I was nowhere near it. Thank you all for watching, and please subscribe.